Greetings, what's up? It's another episode of Q Points Podcast. I'm DJ Sir Daniel.
I love that intro. And my name is Jay Ray, sometimes known by my government as Johnny Ray Cornegay III. What's happening, y'all? It has been a week. Again, a lot of foolishness.
It looks like. So let me wrap this up. I'm inviting people to the broadcast.
You know, people have to come on in, folks. Come on in. But while you do that, Sir Daniel, I am really curious.
To discuss. Go ahead.
We do. I am curious. So the rain here is crazy. So the lightning struck the air conditioner earlier.
Yikes.
Sent out all of the electric. Oh, I'm glad I'm sharing this with everyone. If Q Point suddenly stops, we are so sorry. It is the weather. It is not us.
Listen, all of my folks here in the Metro Atlanta area understand, because Mother Nature is outside clowning right now. Also, when it gets seriously hot, she's like, I need to cool it down. It's too hot in here. Mother Nature, I think Mother Nature is going through menopause. So she said, I'm about to cool it down. And we have some storms also, J-Ray, down here. So same thing with us. If something happens with the power, we'll be right back as soon as we can. But just as you know. And you know what it makes me think of, J-Ray? It makes me think of the power. I see what you did there. Come on, does it make you think of the power of the Almighty, Sir Daniel? It makes me think of the power of the Almighty and how and the way that people praise His name. Amen. Amen. You know, J-Ray, on this show we pride ourselves in the celebration, the elevation, and the I need another Asian. And the adulation. I don't know.
Adulation. I was about to say hateration, but that doesn't count.
No need hateration. The adulation of Black music and Black musicianship, right?
We love it.
And we absolutely love it. And one of the things that we are always concerned about is the erasure of Black music.
Boom.
And J-Ray, there is a new wolf on the scene, a wolf in sheep's clothing. Amen. A wolf in sheep's clothing coming to seek and destroy Black music. And we have somebody that is perfect.
Yes.
Perfect, I feel, to discuss this topic with us this evening, J-Ray.
We do. Well, before we introduce our guest, who we are very excited about, he is a friend to the show. We are excited. I'm also, Sir Daniel, the chat gave you words. So I'm going to share those words. They gave you veneration. And appreciation. So just so you know. So you did get some. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate you, Saints. I appreciate you, because we're about to have our own service. We're gonna have
we really are. Here. Listen, the person that is coming to up to Q Points, like I said, we're a huge fan of, and from an early age, Darnell Miller knew music was his calling, drawing inspiration from giants like Stevie Wonder, Prince, and Amy Grant to create a unique blend of gospel, rock, soul, and funk. In the early 2000s, he joined Ty Tribbett and GA, and with them, he toured the world, did a host of TV shows, recorded 2 Grammy-nominated projects with the group Victory Live and Stand Out. Beyond gospel, his versatility spans genres from R&B to country, forming bands like the Tilting Windmills and the Soul Dares, and sharing stages with artists ranging from Mary Mary to Leanne Rimes. You see what we're doing here? You see why you're here, right? As an arts educator, he passionately mentors the next generation, whether in classrooms, workshops, or on stage. Always a class in session. He currently hosts Indie Planet on WJVS Radio at WJVSradio.com. He does it every Monday at 8 p.m. He also curates Live at the Loft, a monthly music artist concert series in Wilmington, Delaware. Q Points, we are so excited to welcome our brother Darnell Miller to the show. Hello.
Yay.
Who said that?
I wish I had a tambourine. Darnell, I know you got a little keyboard in there somewhere. We need some we need some flutters, some flares every now and then.
I'm not near one at the moment. I'm
Okay.
resting. I'm resting
Okay.
on the couch, nice and
Okay,
comfy.
because I think it would just punctuate the things that we're about to say. Because we're gonna be dropping some words and some gems. But Darnell, this all came about. J. Ray and I had this conversation. Well, the conversation's been brewing for a minute, but things came to a head last week when he's one of the gospel greats, but Pastor Marvin Winans went on a rant in the pulpit after several people had joined Divine Nine organizations, Greek organizations. One joined the organization, your organization, J. Ray, and we're talking about Fred Hammond. And so, and then also there was another bishop that joined Omega Sci-Fi, William
Murphy.
Thank you, Darnell. And so this, in some, not all, in some circles of the church community, some people got fired up, including Pastor Winans, and he declared publicly that all of y'all are going to hell.
Some foolishness. Darnell is like, what?
So, but so of course that incensed me, first of all, and then I got to the real crux of what the matter is that these are direct attacks on Blackness, because there has been incidents of people denouncing their affiliation with the D9. I even heard some young lady denouncing her degree from Spelman College because apparently there's a demon at Spelman College. Did you know that? There's a demon running Spelman College. And what I'm seeing is an attack on Black pillars of the community, Black foundations, Black organizations that unify us as a people and have given people lots, a lot of sense of pride in themselves and each other. And I can't help but think this is orchestrated. This is absolutely orchestrated. And now fast forward to a few days ago, hell broke wide open again, but this time from the gospel community itself, when a music executive in the gospel world made some very, very eye-opening and disparaging comments about not just Black music, but Blackness in itself, if you ask me.
Yes. So you know what? So we're going to set the stage, and then we're just going to jump into the conversation, because this is so weird living in the world that we live in, because he had to know that this would go viral, right? Like you just don't say things like
at this point.
like you just don't say things like that and not know that people are going to pick up on it. It's going to be a soundbite. But I'll save that for a minute, because I think it gets to the crux of the problem. I think we all probably have like a thing that we are seeing go through this. But anyway, so here is the quote. Now, this is coming from Essence, and Essence, every publication has talked about this, but this was from Essence specifically. So he said, quote, this is from Norman Gyamfi. I think that's right. Brother, I'm so sorry if I pronounced your name properly. I think that's right. So the quote is, the gospel norms wasn't working anymore. Y'all sing too hard. We all saw this clip. Y'all oversing. Now, y'all sing too hard. Y'all oversing. I thought that was it. I'm like, well, now, wait a minute. Is you not y'all? I don't know. Stop doing that.
No.
Nobody wants to hear runs. People keep saying we want choir music, but choir music would have never died if people wanted to listen to it. And I was like, I'm not even like a gospel stan, but I was like insulted by that. So, okay. So Darnell, from your perspective, you are an accomplished musician. You are you've played on stages all over the place in Christian contemporary, in the gospel side. How did you feel when you first heard about this?
And most importantly, J. Ray, he's got that oil.
Darnell got that oil. You know, we talk about that. But how did you feel, Darnell?
I mean, you know, I've been taught by a very good mentor of mine to just not live with my emotions.
Mm-hmm.
So when I heard it, I was like, you know, but then I'm always a person I'm gonna keep listening. I'm gonna keep listening. I'm gonna keep listening. And you know, some other things were said, and I was like, oh, I get it now. You know what I'm saying? I think that what he's saying, what he said, first of all, like he knew exactly what he was doing. Ike knew exactly what he was doing. Like big ups to Ike. Although I think Isaac is a really dope person. He's an icon himself. He's sort of like a vocal Bible in the gospel world. I think that Isaac did not. I just think that was an interview that Isaac, at this point in his career as an interviewer, probably did not have the weight to conduct. Does that make sense?
It does.
Okay.
You felt like there should have been some more conversation about
Isaac is dope, and I don't. Look, people mad at Ike. Like, what you mad at Ike for? Ike is doing what he's supposed to do, run up them numbers. Like, we got to remember, it's a numbers game. You know what I'm saying? Now, as far as Norman saying the gospel norms aren't working, I think those norms is what makes gospel. Like, I'm not going to go see the Clark sisters if Karen is not singing within an inch of her life.
Right.
and all I do all night is stay up all night and watch Karen, Kiara, Dorinda, Jackie, Twinkie, even the kids. I watch the kids because they all are bad. So I think the gospel norms are what makes it gospel. I think what he is trying to refer to is just the idea of mainstream popularity. You know what I mean? The funny thing is, I grew up in a church that was non-denominational, charismatic, Pentecostal, and it was at the height of the Jim and Tammy Faye Baker, Jimmy Swaggart movement, that TBN thing. So I grew up in a church like that. We learned how to look into the camera. We learned all of those things, you know. And I remember one day as a kid, I sang in church and I sang down like it's like as a joke, but I killed it. And the pastor was like, no more of that BB and CC stuff.
Wow.
Which was to say,
wild.
Right.
Considering we'll move on, but go ahead. That's wild.
And
go ahead.
even considering that BB and CC at one point dumbed down.
Right.
So they could get for mainstream popularity. So I think Norman is trying to say it's not just in gospel, but it's in rock. It's in every genre. Mutt Lange used to say this, and Mutt Lange, the great producer, he would tell artists, do you want to play clubs and theaters or do you want to play arenas? And he would say it like, complicated music with complicated riffs and complicated arrangements can only translate in small spaces. But simple music that's relevant and that people feel that they can sing along to transfers in arenas. And if he had just said it like that, we all would have understood, because I already knew what Maverick City was upon hearing them. It was a combination of hill songs. It was just the black hill songs. And you knew they could all sing. You knew they could sing down and play down. They just dumbed it down. So I think for him to say that the gospel norms aren't working, that was a very impulsive statement. Very impulsive statement, because that's why we like the Clark sisters. That's why we like John P. Key. That's why we still listen to Hez and James Hill. And the whole thing about choirs, I think that sometimes as an executive, and I know it's a numbers game for him, and he's right. First of all, one thing he said that I agree with, that there's no infrastructure in gospel. And these are conversations that artists have had behind closed doors. Real rap. real rap, and I'm talking people that you know, there's no real infrastructure, not like on the CCM market. And so I think we need to work on that. But no, we need to keep the norms. And I think that I'm seeing the choirs come back through a lot of young people. So I can't say that it's dying out because I'm seeing it when I'm on social media. I see young kids like in the choir stuff. I see people remixing choir stuff. I see choir clips. I mean, one of the most viral clips on TikTok right now is Brent Jones when he did the Joe song, I'm in love, round and round I go. You know what I mean? That's a choir.
Yeah.
So, and we all grieved when Mother Mosey Burks died from Mississippi Mass Choir. Like, I just think that was a very impulsive statement to make. I think he didn't think before he made that statement. Like, bro, like the norms aren't working. The norms is what gave us R&B.
So okay, go ahead, Sir Daniel. No, you do your thing.
No, so I agree with you that he was probably just feeling himself and just was like, listen, as an executive, this is what we're doing here. This is where the direction that the industry is moving in. You either get on board or get lost. All that chitlin circuit stuff that you want. See, it's the jabs and the things that are thrown in there.
He said something like that too, and I was like,
right.
That lead me to believe that this is a lot of anti-blackness because I always say follow the money. So and follow where your funding is coming from, because Darnell, J. Ray, time and time again, what we've seen is people take all the elements that come from Black music and then they make it into what they want it to be. And like what you were just saying about Mutt is that they're going to tell you, okay, well, calm it down because people, specifically non-Black people, want to know that they can sing along and sing like you. But if they can't if they don't know that they can sing along with you or sing or feel like they have the opportunity to sound like that, a lot of them aren't interested. I just saw something else about that on somebody's TikTok reel about what happened to the Celine Dion's, the Whitney Houstons, the Mariah Careys, those types of singers. What happened to them over the years? And now we have these whisper singers, and they're really airy. And
hey, some of the whisper singers are good.
Not for nothing.
One in particular.
Not for nothing. We love that. We love that whisper singer. That
She's
whisper
an
singer
icon.
that gives an 8 count with her whispers. But listen,
Yes.
so what's happening is that the executives are like you said, this is a Taylor Swift world. We need those fans to feel like they can come along and they can join in the party. You guys, you all have had this music forever. You can do that in your backyard at your next fish fry and have a great time. But right now, what we're going to do is we need this money, and we need Taylor, and we need Jalen, and we need Meg to feel comfortable while they're praising and worship and praising God, and so that they don't feel. And we need CC so that they don't feel guilty.
Everyone's afraid to say it.
Oh, they've been laying CC out in private for a long time. But so yes, that's what I was just wanting to say. Like, there's a lot going on here outside of just y'all are singing too hard. This is really an attack on the culture, on an attack on Blackness.
It is.
Absolutely. And I want to bring in a question from the chat, but I do want to shout folks out that have been joining. Shout out to folks over on Substack. We see you, Mark. Mark, I'm about to get to your question in a second. Stephanie Graham. Hey, what's up, Stephanie? Good to see you. S. Cole, good to see you. And everybody who's on Instagram, we see y'all. Definitely chime in with your thoughts. We are talking
Emily,
yes. Yep, we see. In fact, I would have to scroll. It got frozen.
I don't see nobody.
You gotta go on your Instagram on your phone.
Let me go on my thing.
Just make sure you turn
Let me
it
go
down.
on my thing.
Mike, Emily, all y'all, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for joining. So where we are, y'all, if you're just joining, we are talking about Norman Gyamfi, his podcast appearance, where he was talking about Christian contemporary music, gospel music, singing, and all of that stuff. So I want to bring in this question from Mark, and I want to start with you, Darnell. But Mark says, my whole question is, what's the end goal of these critiques? I've only heard about a lot of this as an outsider looking in. I was raised Jehovah's Witness, and all of this fighting and drama does nothing for drawing someone who is barely a believer into the fold. I want to talk about that because that was the interesting thing for me. I think when I think about church and spirituality in this moment, the conversation that we've been having is we need to get as many people into the door as possible, right? And when I'm seeing stuff like this, it's also like another barrier for having people want to walk through that door. So Darnell, I'm curious about that from your perspective.
Um, mm. In some ways, we can also look at it as divine intervention. I think church. I think first of all, since COVID, church has been done differently, but most of the church has had a problem adjusting. And so I think, and this has been a season of just like, I can't believe this. I mean, I don't want to say exposure, but like you finding out some things, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And I think that, I think it's needed in order to separate the wheat from the chaff. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I think it's needed, but it's also needed to also build up the weaknesses that were already there. You understand what I'm saying? I think that I mean, I'm with you. Like I mean, there's some real issues, and runs and riffs being too much. That's not one of them.
Right. Right.
That's how I know you don't really know, and because you don't identify with the struggle. He doesn't.
Yeah.
He didn't. He doesn't. And he
Ooh.
said that himself. He doesn't identify with the struggle. I never would have made it. He don't get it. But see, I'm however years old right now. I get it. But someone younger than me still get it. That's black. American.
Yeah,
Oh,
because they
see,
come from
They say
that
it like that.
coming from that tradition. But
I just said that's all I'm gonna say.
but
no,
I do
I,
I want to bring
That's
this
all
in
I'm gonna
because I
say.
am curious. So to that point, so Darnell, you've also been a professional for a very long time. So you've actually been in this kind of movement for a long time. Like, was this something that you could see coming? Like, I do remember, and I will say personally, I remember for the first time, and this was a lovely church. I remember this is maybe in the like late 90s, early 2000s. I had gotten invited to like a concert at like at a church. It was way out. I had to drive far. And baby, this church was lovely, honey. They had everything. It looked like a concert venue, and we was in there, and I was like, I have never heard this sort of thing before, like this in like a church setting, because I was used to like black church environments. So I'm curious, for you being in it, did you kind of see this transition to where we are now happening?
Yeah, I think that, and I think it's cyclical too, because if we think about the late '70s, early '80s, you had Walter Hawkins, Andre
Mhm.
Crouch, all of that. They were very much integrated to the other side of the coin, which is CCM. Before it was coin CCM, it was Jesus music then.
Mhm.
So what the Hawkins, the Crouches, Andre Crouch was very super integrated, but he still maintained, I think, who he was in that musicianship, everything that made him a gospel artist. But I would say, I look at it, you could see it with the advent of like, I remember. Well, I think it started really kind of with BB and CC, because BB and CC had crossed over not only to the R&B charts, but they started crossing over to the CCM charts. And
Yep.
BB and CC live in Nashville, so they became like
yes.
the black standard in Nashville. And then you started seeing like Ron Canoli, also very integrated, very, not way out there, but mild. And then I think what really did it for the black church was Israel Houghton.
Mm.
Yes.
So
Yep.
after Israel Houghton, you start to see that move, Israel Houghton into Michael Gungor, who like all the musicians loved, I am a friend of God, all of that. But then something happened. And I knew by the time, because Hillsong has been around for years. I grew up knowing who Hillsongs was,
Mm-hmm.
but when they became that thing, and then us as us in the Black church discovered them, I felt like, yeah, this is, yeah, where's it going? But I think that happened because there was a space that was supposed to be filled, but it wasn't filled. And so we just kind of morphed into this praise and worshipy thing, and people are calling it CCM. But let me set the record straight. That is not CCM. That is a watered down version of, that's a version of Hillsongs, which is actually a watered down version of U2.
Wow.
Oh wait, a
So
watered down version of
You
U2.
too.
that's all Hillsongs is. It's a watered down version of U2 and Coldplay.
Wow.
You better
I
blow
mean, that's
our
the accurate.
minds.
That's the
Yes,
accurate
it does
description,
feel
though.
that it does. There is a definite through line to those artists. You can hear, like, yeah.
Shout out
That's
to
not CCM. Go,
Oh,
go ahead.
Stephanie.
Yeah, I was just gonna
Oh.
say real quick, shout out to Stephanie, Audio Oasis Storytelling. Thank you for checking in. We miss you. Good to see you again. Harlem is in the building.
Yeah.
But continue. What's the other the guitarist? Sometimes he's brown skinned from, is he blonde? I want to say John.
Oh, Jonathan, not
Yes.
McReynolds. Jonathan, oh, McReynolds?
No.
Oh, you mean
Jonathan.
Jonathan Butler? Jonathan
Jonathan
Yes.
Butler?
Butler.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is he
But you
along
know,
that line as well?
he was an R&B artist, an
Yeah.
R&B jazz artist.
Mm-hmm.
He just found the light and decided to, you know, drop a a Jesus gem every once in a while, like most of them do.
That's a Jesus
That's right.
gem.
You know what I
That's what
mean?
he would play. Okay.
But yeah, I think there was a time. You remember, my friend calls it sexy gospel. I didn't call it sexy gospel.
Wait.
When it was like Trinity 5-7,
Yes.
Oh,
Okay.
yes.
That is sexy
Dave Moss,
gospel, actually.
like, no, it's not.
It was
I've been an
that dark
advocate.
child gospel.
Right.
Listen, since my teenagers,
Right.
I've been an advocate for hip hop, hip hop, and gospel R&B.
Yes.
It's never like, I love me some Out of Eden, even though that, I love all of it. But I think there was a time where, like, I think it was kind of headed even more in that direction, and then like something happened. I think, I don't know. I think honestly, like, it had to go that way because there weren't enough people to pick up a mantle. Like, I think Kirk is still holding it down, but he's waiting for someone else to come get it. And everyone thought it was going to be Ty, but
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's so funny that you just started me reminiscing on that era in the early 2000s when 'cause I started in my radio career. I started in gospel radio. So I kind of know what you were talking about as far as the marketing. The people that were handling gospel from the major labels were not of gospel, were not
Oh,
of the church.
right.
And
no.
there would be this one young man here in Atlanta who used to work records independently for the smaller labels and sometimes the bigger labels. And he was the only person that was of the church.
Mm-hmm.
And I just remember in that time, because Yolanda Adams had crossed over with Open My Heart and got, especially after 9/11, that
I
just went
predicted
crazy.
that.
And then you had other artists. People were slipping in. Gospel was starting to do a little boom. You had your BBJs, and then
Yeah, man.
I don't even
yeah,
remember
you know what I'm saying.
BBJ.
And
I
Mary
love that record,
Mary.
man.
BBJ is like the gospel Notorious B.I.G. That's what they were trying to
Yeah.
market him as. And
We
then you
had
had
a bow wow. We had a gospel bow wow.
all of that. There was
Yeah.
Mary Mary, who was
I loved Mary Mary. Listen, when that
when they
Mary
came
Mary
out.
album hit, your boy was at the record store getting that joint. Like that meant so much.
It's a classic. It's a classic.
So you had them. They integrated. They blew up. They were working with mainstream producers like Rodney Jerkins, so that they had that polished R&B sound. And then by like the mid 2000s, it just all went away. It just went away from like the
Yep.
mainstream. The mainstream stopped paying attention or stopped caring about Black gospel music. But and this is something that Darnell, I want you to chime in on. what I've always noticed, there's not a Sunday morning, and my mom is a 7-day Adventist, but there is not a Sunday morning that she doesn't have on that Swagger Network. And because she likes the music, she likes to hear the singing, right? But it's always, and this is what I see in these mega churches specifically, they will have some older white man singing his head off at the piano, doing his best gospel shake, and then he'll even hop on a harmonica. And but you might see 2 or 3 black people on stage with them.
There's a couple of chocolate chips in there, yeah.
There's a couple of raisins sprinkled out in there. Then they pan out to the actual congregation, and there's a couple raisins in the sun out there as well. But when it comes to that pulpit, who's in charge? Who's in charge of the money, collecting the money, and all that stuff? It's still a very white, sanitized environment. But when it comes to that music, though, they said, we're going to trap you with this music because we know what y'all like. So I'm going to give you a swing. I'm going to give you a hand clap and a stomp. And I'm going to play on this harmonica. And I'm going to use your music to draw you in, to get your money, and to then tell you in a roundabout way that your blackness is wrong. I'm going to tell you inadvertently who to vote for, because if you vote Democrat, then you're not a person of God. If you're a demon worshiper, if you vote Democrat, all of these things are happening in those environments, and there are a lot of black people who are succumbing to that. And so I guess I don't know what my question is, but that's just been on my mind. But like, have you seen that? Do you see it? And when you encounter that, how does it make you feel as a musician?
I mean, that's been going on since the 80s. I grew up in environments like that sometime. I think the only thing that kept me like true to who I was my mother. From the backwoods country. You know what I'm saying? And then, I would do stuff like show up to church in an all African outfit, and I would just do stuff like that just to do it, because it's like, you want us here, but you don't want us here, And then like we're singing whitewashed versions of John P. Key songs. So we're singing Brooklyn Tabernacle and Christ Church Choir, and I'm saying, no, we can get the original song. You know what I mean? Right. But that's always been a thing. They always wanted us for our music and our sound. And then, singers like, and I mean, I love all these singers like Natalie Grant and all those people, like they try to emulate, and you know what I mean? And, I've seen it. I think that when I see, because there's 2 types. There's the black person that's in that environment that knows who they are. You know what I mean? But there's the one that's lost. Yeah. And those are the ones I go, wow, you have like, have you experienced anything outside of this? You understand what I'm saying? But I grew up in some of those environments, so I know very, very well. And it's always been going on, and I think it will continue to go on. But what I also see is that some of that is falling. Jimmy Swaggart is now passed on, and but I always felt like Jimmy Swaggart was a little racist too. Like he hated anything that was not him, although we knew that his cousin was Jerry Lee Lewis. You know what I'm saying? But he hated anything that wasn't what he did. I remember the Christian metal band Stryper came out. He said they were demons. They were going to hell. So I think he just didn't like anything that didn't sound like his thing. But he also was a little racist. And, people like Rob Parsley, they're getting exposed, how they've used the black culture to build up, their thing. Paula White. I mean, y'all talk about Paula White now, but we remember Paula White back in the day. I mean, we sung at her church when she was married to whatever husband she was married to at the time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know.
Come on, Paula. Angels from South
Africa. You know what I'm saying?
Africa. Go ahead, J. Ray. I'm sorry.
But yeah, it kind of saddens me, because Like, don't you know that you are the first of all, you're the backbone of this country. Even the things they demonize about you in church are the things that they want from you. You know what I'm saying? I think that that comes from just not understanding and knowing or being ashamed of where you came from. I think a lot of people, we're so quick to focus on kings and queens, but we forget about that Gullah Geechee culture,
Yeah.
which started the black church, and we don't celebrate that, because we look at it as a certain way. I honor every Gullah Geechee person that came before me, because if it wasn't for them, the black church wouldn't exist in America, because that really is a product of African spiritualism and the little bit that the masters taught us. You know what I'm saying?
So, Darnell, obviously, we are sitting here with you with your years of living and experience and getting that. How did you maneuver through those spaces? Like, what was kind of like, how did you get through it to become who you are, man? Because, like, you're still like doing amazing work, creating, doing all the things, but that had to be hard.
Music, music, because you know this this world divides, but music doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't. We're the ones that put labels on the music, so it was the music that really pushed me through, and it was just all the experiences I've had with music, whether it was being watching a CCM legend, right before his death, at a church, or, you know, going to see going to see Wilmington Chester for the first time and being blown away by Daryl Coley. It's
Yeah.
music. It's music. It's music has always been the thing. Music has always been like the safe space for me, even when something that happened to me and made me feel some type of way. I've had many of those moments, and I've had many moments where, the Europeans say stuff and it's like they don't actually know what they're saying, but that's not a statement that you should make. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's always been music, and just playing and music. And because I've always said that I'm not going to beg you I'm not going to beg you for anything. I'm going to make you come to me.
Mm.
And I want to make you see. There's many instances I've walked into a room and they thought I was security or the whatever. And then I got on that guitar and it was like, what can I give you? Can I give you anything?
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I always live by that. I'm not going to beg you to be used by you or nothing. I'm gonna be so great or so good. I don't know. I'm gonna be
Great.
so good
No,
that
you
I'm
were
gonna
great.
make you
Great.
come to
Great.
me. You understand what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You're like, now I've gotten lazy in the past couple of years with that, but still,
Mm-hmm.
I still live by that. Like, you're never going to deny me
Mm-hmm.
because of how good I am or try to
Mm.
be.
Wow.
You know what I'm
And
saying?
see, the musicians, I feel, always have that valley moment where they're looking over the kingdom and they have that moment where somebody comes to them and offers them, I can give you the world
Mm-hmm.
if you do such and such. If
Mm.
you give this up or you bow to
Mm-hmm.
this. And I'm certain you've encountered that, especially in this industry. And do you ever think, have there been those moments and you just be like, I could be a millionaire now if I had taken that opportunity, and but you didn't. And where do you want to see the music go from here?
Yeah.
Like, what is the future of, that the runs music, the loud music, and
The
Christian
runs
music?
music though.
More runs
I
music.
think that the runs music, that's crazy. I mean, I think that let me do the last question. Where do I see it going?
Mm-hmm.
Well, these are also conversations that I just had this conversation with somebody at Gospel Radio. And this is what I believe. I believe that gospel music needs to take its place again as an innovative source.
Mm.
And think about, to me, I'm an 80s baby. So I remember going in the 70s into the 80s, you had Tremaine Hawkins, Fall
Yep.
Down. You
Yep.
brought the sunshine. Vicky
Mhm.
Winans, Don't Throw Your Life Away. Commission. They were innovative. They wasn't trying
Playing
to
in
like. First of all,
clubs.
there
Yes.
was no money in gospel at that point. They was just trying to make music, and they were so innovative that they had an influence on the culture. You know what I mean? I think that gospel just needs to take its place. I think what has happened also in the past couple of years is that we've tried to follow a trend instead of setting the trends. Gospel has always set the trends, and I think that, and these are conversations that like I've had with people. So we all say this, and I think the tide is turning. But I just think it's gonna take a while. This whole, like I said, this whole Norman Gyamfi thing, it was probably divine intervention.
Mhm.
That
Mm.
it had to happen because maybe it's going to wake people up, and we need more innovative music like Rance Allen's and the Staple Singers, and we also need to start speaking to the people again. We're tired of these chants and these self-help feel better type of things. We need to get back to speaking to the culture because of where we are right now. It's no time to play. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's the I think the future, it should be, it needs to be innovative and bring back B Slade. Let him just
Mhm.
do what he want to do
Yeah.
because he was then and now still one of the most innovative players that we've ever had.
Mhm. Wow.
And I'm gonna keep it a bean. I'm gonna keep it a bean. Kirk is doing his thing.
Mhm.
He's trying to stay on top of it, but he cannot be the only one at this point. He's ready to say who's next.
Mm.
You feel me?
Yeah.
And as far as like having moments where I think for me, like every moment that I had, God blocked it because I had ideas of what I wanted to do. I knew what I was going to do. I was going to join Ty Tribbett, then I was going to go to Nashville, and I was going to get me a gig with somebody that's a long time gig. You know what I'm saying? Or I was gonna just go to Nashville and write and play, and then I might get, now this sounds really corny, but I might get me a John Cougar Mellencamp gig
Yeah.
because they always work.
Right.
They always work, and I just wanted to
Yes.
work. I didn't want to, But I think about events in my life that happened. It was definitely, again, that was divine intervention because I might have been rich, but I probably would have been like strung out
Mhm.
or I mean, more strung out than I am now. It's like, no, no. But I'm just
Oh,
saying, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just think my life would have been not where I wanted it to be personally. And then I would have been asking what's next. So, I'm glad that the things that I wanted didn't happen, but the things that I needed happened,
mm.
you know.
So this is a perfect time to do, because you do two things. You do so many things, but I want to pull out these two things. We mentioned them in your bio, and I think they do speak to um your purpose, like part of your purpose, right? Because had some of those things happen, and I think about this in my personal life, like you may not have had the opportunity to do Live at the Loft. You may not have had the opportunity to create Indie Planet and create that opportunity. Um, Talk
Yeah.
to us about those two things and what you hope that both Indie Planet and Live at the Loft kind of bring to Wilmington, but also the world. What are you feeling? What
The
do you want?
world. Well, first, before I answer that, I got to go back to Norman Gyamfi for a quick second
Yeah,
because he said something, and I resented it. He was like, "Well, where y'all going to go? Malico Records? Like, don't do
that
that.
is a
Oh,
Malico
see,
Records."
legendary label. I didn't hear that part, sir.
Oh, he said that,
that
and then Ike goes, "I'm not going to Malico. They owe me money." Now you're getting messy,
So now,
but
see
that's just
sir,
see
I'm
that's the
was there an
airing of
Malico
audience?
dirty
I'd be
Records.
like,
laundry.
see, y'all can't do that.
That's
No,
airing of
y'all.
dirty
Malico is the
laundry.
culture.
It is
Malico is
absolutely
the
that.
culture. BB
Malico is up there
Winans
with
went to Malico.
Stacks.
Yeah.
It's up there with
Yeah.
Stacks. It's up
Yep.
with all the major black the Chitlin circuit labels, if you want to call
Yeah.
it that. That's
I just had to
crazy.
say that because that bothered me when I was like, Malico, well, it was
Yeah.
good enough for BB Wine. It's like,
Right.
who are you? But that's,
See. Well,
anyway. Um, I just hope for Live at the Loft, I want it to be this, I want it to be something not, of course, local, but also global. And I want to make it a safe space for artists, as always,
Yeah.
to be vulnerable and powerful at the same time. Come in, no pretense, lay it all on the table. And for artists who are normally not, don't get the opportunity to just express themselves musically in an environment. That's why we did Pride at the Loft, because like there's so many great queer artists that we do not, that we just, there's some bad ones, but there's a lot of good ones.
Yeah.
And that are putting out quality work, and they need to be lifted up, not only just in queer circles, but abroad, and Indie Planet, Indie Planet is just, it's a dream, and it's something I always wanted to do. I was telling the guy, the owner of the radio station, like I used to watch Donnie Simpson and study him, and I just appreciated how he was a music fan.
Yes.
And he also knew how to ask hard questions but still be a fan. And he was into the music. Like we learned about Ellie and Babyface from
Yep.
Donnie Simpson.
We did.
We learned about Foster and McElroy from Donnie Simpson. Like he was giving us all of that and giving us like, the surface stuff. So I used to love to watch him, and I just was like, I'm just trying to play Donnie Simpson. That's all. But I actually hope it. I hope it. I mean, listen, like I feel like I just seen that Kevin Ross had the number one single in the country,
single.
number one R&B single, and I remember like, and he came on the show, and I was saying like, we've been playing this song for a month. I love it. I think it's gonna be amazing. I would like to think that we Indie Planet have a hand in stuff like that. Really breaking indie artists, putting them on, helping them to be on the charts and all of that type of thing. And I just want to help indie artists because those royalty rates are higher on internet radio.
Yeah.
So I just want to give people their propers, financially and spiritually and all that.
Darnell, man, such a gem. And I want to thank, I've said this to you personally, but you're here on Q Points, and I want to say it here so that everybody can hear. Shout out to Shaniqua. See, you just hit us up in the chat.
Hey, Shaniqua.
So, 3G management. The one thing he said that held some weight was collaboration always wins. Collaboration does always win.
Yeah, I do believe you. Yeah, that's Shannon Lolly, 3G. Yeah. Collaboration always wins. I did like that. Like he said some good stuff and some bad stuff, but I'm not even gonna say bad stuff.
We always say that. It's true.
It's like I'm not even gonna call it bad stuff. I was just like, did he really just say that? Right. Oh, okay. But again, as the show went on, I was like, oh, I get it. That's why.
Yeah. Now,
and you have to admit it. Right now, he's the only thing in the game because gospel labels, they shut down every 5 or 6 years. Yeah. It's just he's tribal. Motown, they're not saying that they get ready to shut down. RCA get ready to shut. Tribal is running it right now, and for this man to come out of nowhere in a short amount of time and run it, that says that we need better infrastructure.
Yes, and I just want to thank you, Darnell. So for those of you that don't know, if you're joining, back in June during Pride Month, Darnell reached out and he's like, "Hey, would you host? I'm doing an event called Pride at the Loft. Would you host it?" And I was like, yes, because I really don't do things. I really don't do stuff like that. I hadn't done it before. And it was such a well curated, beautiful experience. The Loft, if you ever are anywhere near Wilmington, Delaware, when Live at the Loft is happening, y'all need to come through. Darnell curates.
It's a good time. It's a good time.
It is a good time. You curate just such an amazing environment. And so I just want to thank you here on Q Points and say, man, thank you for just like being a light and, giving me an opportunity and giving so many of us opportunities, man. We appreciate you.
Hey, man. First of all, I'm honored to be here. Both you guys are amazing to me. I feel like I've been tribeless for like 1,000 years, and I feel like I'm like, wow, this might be the tribe. This might be part of my tribe.
Yes.
I keep saying this, and I don't want anybody from Atlanta to be mad at me. I keep saying I will never come to Atlanta anytime soon, but that's probably about to change.
It's about to change. I've been telling Darnell, I'm like, oh, you gotta go.
Like real rap. It's probably about to change because my auntie, she's calling me. So, I can't say no to my favorite auntie,
Listen, there's room for you here.
Yes.
There's and it's like the Bible always says, your talents will make room for you wherever you go. So,
Come
hey, so
don't do it, Daniel.
no,
Daniel.
new music. Like for you, you as an artist, what's
Yes.
on the horizon?
Yes.
Okay, so of course, well, Live at the Loft, Indie Planet. I'm fashioning together a podcast called Conversations at the Loft.
Okay, nice.
And it won't be sensational. Um, I've been thinking about music for a minute. My band, we were supposed to put an album out this summer, an EP, but two of my guys are on tour with Dietrich Haddon, and everyone's like, one of my drummers, no, my keyboard players in Italy, so it just didn't feel like the right moment. So I've kind of started writing again, getting back into writing. I have an idea that's halfway in thought, halfway completed, called The Master Race. And it's just about how they think they're the master race, but they bred us to be the master race, and that's what we are.
Come on with it. That's what I'm talking about.
Darnell.
And you know
Miller.
what?
But I do. You
We're
can.
musicians,
Jesus
man.
and Jameson is still available.
Yo, y'all
Jesus
should go
and
play
Jameson is
Jesus
still
and
available.
Jameson. I was just playing that this weekend. Go play that joint.
Everyone needs a little bit.
Right.
Of Jesus and Jameson.
Ooh, well, this has been amazing.
Appreciate you, man.
Yes.
This has been awesome, man. This was perfect. Sir Daniel, I'm so glad, because when we were talking, it's like, we have to talk about this. And Darnell, thank you so much for being willing to be here to help us parse through this topic, man.
Anytime.
Yeah.
You guys are amazing.
Thank you. So for all
Blessings.
of y'all, we appreciate you, man. For all of y'all that are watching, subscribe wherever you are. If you can see our faces, if you can hear our voices, go ahead and share the show with your friends, family, colleagues. If you love Q Points, chances are they will love Q Points as well. Visit our website at qpoints.com. You can see our archive of shows. There are plenty of shows to check out. We are live every Thursday at 8 o'clock, wherever you are tuning in. So if you're tuning in from a place, we are there every Thursday at 8 o'clock talking about some music topic that you may love. And last but not least, you can support the show. You can support the show by shopping our store at store.qpoints.com. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. Thank y'all. Substack and Instagram and Facebook and YouTube. And I'm leaving out one, but it's cool. Thank y'all for being here.
Absolutely.
Get
Now,
that merch.
I want everybody to put their hands up against their screens right now. And I want you to remember what this and say, in this life, you have a choice. You can either pick up the needle or you can let the record play. Huh? I'm DJ Sir Daniel.
I'm J Ray, y'all.
And our guest missionary pastor this weekend today is introduce yourself, sir. Come on.
Jesus and Jameson.
Jesus and Jameson. Darnell Miller has been
absolutely. And this is Q Points Podcast, dropping the needle on Black music history. We will see you on the next go round. Hi, peace, y'all.
Peace, y'all.